NASA overhauls Artemis program. Prioritizing launch cadence over immediate moon landing, NASA is fundamentally reshaping its Artemis program, shifting focus from a near-term crewed lunar landing to a more frequent launch schedule. The agency announced Friday that the Artemis III mission, previously slated to land astronauts on the moon, will instead be repurposed as an orbital test flight to practice rendezvous and docking procedures with SpaceX or Blue Origin's lunar landers. This adjustment is part of a broader effort to address inefficiencies and accelerate the pace of deep space exploration. The shift in strategy, the primary motivation behind this overhaul, is the realization that NASA's current launch cadence, with significant gaps between missions, hinders operational efficiency and expertise retention. Administrator Jared Isaacman emphasized the need to adopt a more iterative, Apollo-era approach, with launches occurring roughly every 10 months, rather than once every 3 years. This change acknowledges that infrequent launches lead to a loss of muscle memory among technical teams, increasing the risk of recurring issues. The revised timeline pushes the first crewed lunar landing to Artemis IV, now projected for early 2028, with Artemis V following at the end of that year. This decision is not about abandoning lunar ambitions, but about ensuring a sustainable, reliable pathway to long-term exploration. Addressing technical challenges, the decision follows recent technical setbacks with the Space Launch System, SLS, rocket, including hydrogen leaks during Artemis I and helium flow problems discovered during preparations for Artemis II. These issues underscore the importance of frequent testing and iterative improvements. The Artemis III orbital test will allow engineers to validate critical systems, including lander compatibility, life support, and even preliminary spacesuit trials, in a controlled environment before committing to a high-stakes lunar descent. We shouldn't be comfortable with the current cadence. We should be getting back to basics and doing what we know works, Isaacman stated, drawing a clear parallel to the rapid-fire launch schedule of the Mercury, Gemini, and early Apollo programs. Rebuilding in-house expertise, a key component of this revamp, is a deliberate effort to re-establish NASA's internal technical capabilities. The agency plans to reduce reliance on contractors, currently comprising 75% of its technical workforce, and bring more expertise in-house. This move is intended to streamline launch preparations, improve oversight, and reduce the risk of repeating errors. The geopolitical context, the urgency behind these changes, is also driven by geopolitical competition. With China aiming to land its own astronauts on the moon before 2030, NASA faces increasing pressure to maintain its leadership in space exploration. The United States has not sent humans to the lunar surface since Apollo 17 in 1972, and this gap risks being widened by rival nations. Artemis II and beyond work continues on Artemis II, with a potential launch window in April. Engineers are working to resolve the helium flow issue discovered during wet dress rehearsals, requiring a temporary return of the stacked rocket to the vehicle assembly building for repairs. NASA is streamlining the Artemis campaign by standardizing the SLS configuration rather than pursuing constant design evolution, further accelerating the launch process. The agency also remains committed to the Gateway Lunar Outpost, but its priority is now firmly focused on increasing launch frequency before investing heavily in additional infrastructure. This revised strategy marks a pragmatic shift, acknowledging that consistent progress, not splashy one-off achievements, is the key to long-term success in deep space exploration.